Good morning. Time to make the coffee. Today's flavor is pecan pie, and it's going to be 39 degrees. It's sunny. Too cold for me to work outside, but we're going to have one night this week where it's going down to 20. But that's March. Used to be January and February were the coldest months here. But the weather's changed, and now March is one of our coldest months. It doesn't last long. Usually if it snows, it melts within a week, but not always. We can get a lot of snow in March. So I don't know about this early sowing. It's an experiment. We'll see how it works. Well, I think my seeds are doing okay so far, but we'll see how they do when I put them in dirt, which needs to happen soon, but I'm going to give them a couple more days. And sometime this week, or the beginning of next week, I want to make some discard sourdough bread in the bread machine. I found a recipe for that, and I'm excited about that. So that way I don't feel like I'm wasting all that flour, because the whole wheat and the rye flour are expensive. A recording button malfunction there. So I thought I'd finish talking to you here. So cheers. Very good. So I usually only drink 1 cup of coffee a day. I used to drink coffee all day long, literally. And because I worked in a couple of beauty salons, and their break room was really cold, and we were allowed to drink coffee while we did hair, so partially to stay warm and partially just because it was a social event too. When you're a hairdresser, your customers usually become your friends. And you become their consultant. Whatever's going on, you know about it. It's kind of like being a bartender. They know about everything too. So you have to be a very good listener. But of the careers that I've had, I enjoyed that one, I think, the most. Well, other than here on YouTube, but this isn't really a career. This is just fun for me. But anyway, nursing was not my thing. I didn't like poking and prodding people. And a lot of because I worked in long-term care, and a lot of the government regulations and things, they gave you way too many patients, to the point where everybody got a lick and a promise if you were going to get through your shift. Plus that, you had to do a lot of documentation, because, well, if it wasn't documented, it wasn't done. So the paper trail was getting to the point where the paper trail was getting more important than the patient care, which is a shame. So I switched over to, stayed in nursing, but switched over to computers, and did assessments on residents every 3 months for Medicare and Medicaid payment from the government. So that was okay. That was all right. I didn't mind that, because I always did like working with computers. I don't anymore, but there was a point where I was going to go into computer studies, and I built a computer. It's all these components that you get, and then you have to plug them in, and then you have to program the computer so it does what you want it to do. But that was a long time ago. Well, this morning I have my composter going, the I Do Garbo. It's the second time now that I'm running it. The first time I had put some stringy stuff and a paper towel in there, and it kept getting jammed. So But this time I have a lot of eggshells, I have banana peels, coffee grounds, so we'll see how it does. I'm hoping it works because it would make it so much easier to get rid of garbage. So it has a long list of things that you can put in there. So I guess you just have to try it and see how it works out. So this morning we had the cable guy here. He was checking the internet speeds. And we might need to get a new router. I don't know. It seems like so many computer components are supposed to work together, and then they end up not doing what they're supposed to do. You know, it's amazing how so many people can do the things that they do on computers, and then other times it's like it just doesn't work. So I guess you all have to become computer experts in today's world. I'd like to start using up some of my older seed packets so I can pare down on seeds as well, because a lot of the veggies that I do grow will produce their own seeds, so that way you get a fresh batch every year. But those that I've bought in the past and just haven't gotten around to planting, I'd like to plant those and, you know, get rid of some of them. That's another thing I want to downsize, are my seeds. That way I'll just have a good supply of the ones that I actually like and I'm able to grow. Because in my backyard I can't grow just anything. I think I get like maybe 5 hours of sun back there, and some vegetables like tomatoes and peppers, they need at least 8 hours of sun. So I'm going to still grow those, but I have to find the sunniest spot so that they get the most sun. I have trees back there, and then also as the sun goes across the sky, the house shades my backyard. So, and I have a very small backyard. It's not like I can move my garden to the lower 40 where it's really sunny. So I only have limited space because I live in a townhouse. So it's a challenge. But we'll see. I'm going to keep trying and see what grows. At the very least, I can grow some greens, because most greens need 4 to 6 hours. A lot of them don't need 8 to 10 hours. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. It's an experiment. And since I already have everything that I need to do the gardening, eventually when I get it all set up the way that I want it, I'll just be able to, you know, amend the soil and plant the seeds. So that shouldn't be too cumbersome. I think that would work out okay. But in order to get to that point, it's a lot of work. And it's like that with a lot of things in life. You know, you have to keep trying different things. If one thing doesn't work, then you try something else. I mean, Edison and Dyson, the guy that did the vacuum and the light bulbs, I know you all know that, they had many, many failures before they finally were successful. And I think that's what life is. It's a learning experience. It's trial and error. Very few people come into this world knowing exactly what to do. So we're all sort of in our infant stage, even if we're older, when it comes to learning. And learning, to me, is extremely important because it keeps your mind young and it helps you get through problem solving. The more problems you solve, the better you are at solving problems. Well, some are harder than others, of course, but you know what I mean. Well, today I wanted to talk a little bit about reinventing yourself. And it's something that we really could do every day, every minute, every hour, whatever your time frame is. And I know we all have things that we'd like to change about ourselves, about our homes, you know, about anything that you don't like to do. So the first thing that I need to do, and this is a talk for myself too, is I need to take charge. I need to be my own boss and not wait for somebody else to solve a problem for me, to tell me how to do it. Not that you shouldn't get advice from people that you trust and that you admire. That's a good thing to do too. But ultimately, be your own boss. If there's things that you don't like to do or hate to do or don't like about yourself, and we all have things we don't like about ourselves, then do something different. Do something, anything different to change it up. If you don't like your hair, let's say, okay, and you've always worn it the same and you just don't like it, well, change it up. Find yourself some hairdos that you think you would like. Pick several. Go into a professional and see what they think, what your hair is capable of doing, and give it a try. Worst case scenario, you don't like that either, and you can let it grow out again, or you can cut it shorter, or it's endless what you can do. That's just an example. Same thing, you can do the same thing with makeup. You know, if you don't like your eyes, you can make them up in a different way. There's all kinds of things you can do to change things up. So I know for me there's certain things that I really hate to do. And one of them is washing my floors. And a big reason why I procrastinate about that, well, first of all, let me back up a little bit. Ask yourself, why do you hate doing XYZ? For me, it'll be, why do I hate washing the floor? Well, for me, it's because I have so much stuff on the floors. By stuff, I mean I have throw rugs, I have chairs that are hard to get underneath, just things like that. So then, you know, I ask myself, what can I do to make it easier so I don't dislike it so much? Well, the first thing I could do is get rid of the throw rugs. That's an option. Another thing I could do is get rid of the chairs that are in the way that I can't clean underneath without making it a big project. Getting furniture with legs so that I can clean underneath easily, that would be an option. Just not having things on the floor. I have some baskets on the floor with dog toys in them, things like that. You know, I mean, there's a whole bunch of different things that I could do in order to make it a more pleasant task to clean the floor, so I don't have to do 10 things before I actually get to the task of cleaning the floor. And a lot of times I think that's why many of us do procrastinate, because some of the tasks that we have mapped out for ourselves, you have to do 10 things before you actually can get to that task. So one of the things for me is planting my seeds? Well, first of all, I have to get the right containers. And I went to Drug Mart. They didn't have more than one, which isn't that helpful to me because I needed 3. So then I didn't have any dirt. So that was another reason. I couldn't just go to my spot where I want to do the planting, put the dirt in the container, and then put the seeds in and be done with it. Everything seems to turn into a project. And I think that's why a lot of us procrastinate, because you don't feel like doing the things that you have to do to actually get in there and do that project. Make yourself a list of things that you hate to do, and then ask yourself why you hate to do those things. And then take steps to alleviate some of those things to make it easier on yourself, so that you don't have to spend an hour cleaning a floor that should really only take you 15 minutes. But because you've overcomplicated it, it takes you way longer. And that is an issue that I know I do. I overcomplicate things. Things don't have to be complicated. Sometimes figuring out how to take it down to its simplest form is a good idea, and it probably will make the task more pleasant for you. So stopping to do the things that you really hate to do by changing them up to make them more pleasant, I think that works. I think it works well. Even if you change one thing at a time, it doesn't have to be, oh, you have to redo the whole room. I could get rid of one chair and then only have one chair that I need to move around, or I could just keep one throw rug. I have 4 throw rugs on my floors. Now, I have laminate floors in my living room, and I like to keep a throw rug on the floor because it keeps things from sliding around. But I really don't need 4 throw rugs. One larger one would do. So that would make washing the floor much easier for me. So if you really don't know what you want to do and keep and get rid of in your life, here's a question that I've been asking myself. And it's, if I only had a certain amount of time to live, which we all only have a certain amount of time to live. So, but if I only had, like, let's say, a year to live, would I be doing this? And if the answer is no, unless it's something that you absolutely have to do to maintain something, or like, let's say you have dogs, okay, and feeding your dogs is not like your favorite thing to do. It's just an example. Can't think of anything else. Oh, let's say cleaning up the dog mess in the backyard. That I can relate to. Is something that you really don't like to do. So you have to ask yourself, well, would I still do this if I only had so much time left? And the answer for me would be yes. I get more pleasure out of my dogs than I do cleaning up the dog mess. But so that's something that maybe if I didn't want to do that, I could hire people to come in and clean the yard. They do have services that do that. I could do it more often, which I do in the summer. I do it every day. But in the winter, not so much because it's cold and you can't find it. But so there's only certain seasons where I really, really dislike it. And that's like first thing after the snow thaws. So trying to make things more pleasant for yourself, the things that you have to do and you have to keep in your life, try streamlining them down to the very minimal and get rid of all the steps that are in between that you really, really don't have to do. But somehow you've gotten into a habit or overcomplicated things for yourself. So as you're going through a transformation and transforming your life into what it is, how you want it to be and how you want it to look, you have to make yourself a list of what is really important to you. Things that you would really like to incorporate into your life that you don't have time for because you're doing all the other things that we just talked about. Some of the things that I'd like to do is I would like to go for more walks. Not particularly for exercise reasons, but because I enjoy it. I enjoy walking in my neighborhood, and I enjoy looking at people's flowers and landscaping, and I enjoy the quiet meditation, and so I want to incorporate more of that into my life. Let's say I wanted to take more time to read books. Well, some of us might think, oh, I should be doing something like cleaning, or I should be doing this, or I should be doing that. Well, making more time and not feeling guilty about the things that you really, really want to do, you have to make adjustments, and you have to every day do a little something towards that thing that you want to do. If it's you want to read more, then take a half an hour every day, a dedicated half an hour. And if it's by bedtime or first thing in the morning, whatever, and then take that time and do it. Then, if you want to build on that and say, if your goal is you want to read 2 hours a day, that's fine. So just build on it. Add a little more time. Next week, maybe read for 45 minutes. And then don't feel guilty about it. Get rid of something else that you really hate to do. If you hate to clean your house, try putting away some money, and I know not all of us can afford to have people come in and help, but if you can afford it, that's something you might want to do so that you can get in, somebody can come in, even if it's once every 2 months, or somebody to come in and wash your windows if that's something you hate to do. Or like me, if you hate to wash the floor, paying somebody once a week to come in and wash your floor. So even doing little things, you don't have to do a whole house cleaning. Like if I don't mind dusting, I could dust. I could have somebody else come in and do the floors or do my windows or whatever else it is I hate to do. So reinventing yourself to get to what it is that makes you happy, that makes your life pleasant. It shouldn't be nose to the grindstone 24/7. I don't think that's what life was meant to be. I think we're all here to learn things and improve ourselves as human beings. And you really can't improve yourself if you're not happy. You can't pass that along to somebody else if you don't have it inside of yourself. So, okay, I just wanted to talk a little bit about that and things I've been thinking about because I need to make some changes. And some of the changes, they aren't big, huge things, but they're things that I would rather be doing this instead of that. So I have to take care of how I'm going to be able to do that in an easier, simpler way. So, okay, that's my little chat for today. And going to go check my seeds and my starter and see how those are coming along. All right, time to take a look at my no spend days. I haven't done that in a couple days. So on the 7th, I get a red X. I bought things for my garden, containers and dirt. And on the 8th, which was yesterday, I did not spend any money. So doing okay so far this month. I'm going to try and find some containers around the house since they only had one container at Drug Mart. So I'll see what I have on hand here and maybe I can use that. But we'll see, otherwise I'll have to make a trek eventually to a different Drug Mart and see if they have my containers. So okay, that's my no spend for the month of March so far. Well, the sourdough starter is starting to get some bubbles in it. I need to feed it. I did not feed it yesterday. I thought I'd let it ferment a little bit. So I'm going to take half of this out, add half a cup of flour, just plain all-purpose flour, and then add 1/3 of a cup of water. That's what I did last time, and that seemed to wake it up a little bit. So we'll see. Maybe by springtime we'll have starter. Better late than never. All right, here's the update on my seeds. These need to go into the ground, or into dirt. These are my zinnias, and there's 3 layers of those. They're pretty much all sprouting. I have to figure out what I want to plant these in. The carnations, they're all sprouted. These are the wildflowers, and they're sprouted, most of them, or a lot of them. And then these are the cosmos and the calendula. Cosmos are on top. So those look good. Let's take a look at the calendulas. Oh yes, they're all doing well too. So I need to get those in some dirt, but I have to figure out how I want to do this. These are easy to get off the paper towel, pretty much. Well, some are and some aren't. You don't want to break the roots. So, step 2, planting them in the ground, because it's way too early to put them in my raised beds. So I planted all these on the 4th, and these are all the ones that have already germinated. These are peppers, they're not ready yet. Blood orange and Meyer lemon, they're not ready. There's only 3 stevia seeds left in here that haven't sprouted. I only have 1 left alive, and so I would say the stevia is probably not worth buying. $2.99 for the packet, and you only get 12 seeds, so I think that's kind of a waste of money. These are nasturtiums. They haven't done anything yet. A couple of them were a little bit moldy. I threw those out. And my petunias haven't done anything yet either, but I'll give them some more time. So we'll see. I would say all in all, this has been successful. So if you want to quickly germinate your seeds and see which ones are viable, try giving this a try. Let's take a look at my winter sown. None of these have come up yet, but the ones that I planted, that I germinated inside on a paper towel, these I think are bok choy. I don't know if you can see those, but they're still living. So I guess those are good. And in here, I don't don't think I'll be able to get this open, but these are broccoli. So some of those are surviving. And it's been pretty cold at night, so those are okay. And then over here, it's nice and sunny today. Over here, I don't know if you can see those. These are more pak choi, and they're doing pretty well. And all I did was, once they germinated, I kind of just put them all on top of the soil and covered them up. Just kind of helter-skelter, and I figured when they get bigger I could take them apart. So that is my winter sowing project. We'll see how it turns out in the end. And the garden is the same. Nothing's changed. It's been too cold to do much. So hopefully I can come out here. It's going to be cold for the next week. So no warm weather in sight, and my house is so green I have to power wash that. Always something. There's something to be said about living in an apartment with a balcony. That might not be a bad thing. I don't know, do any of you live in an apartment with a balcony? Let me know how you like it. Alright, it's cold. I'm going in. Taking a little tea break. Cheers again. So anyway, that's all I have for you today, my friends. I want to wish you abundant blessings. I love you guys. Be good to yourself. Be good to others. God bless you. And I'll see you next time. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, comment, and like. Thanks for watching.